you want to catch more zander like this beast, here are my top 5 tips to help you put more fish on the bank. So my first tip on fishing for zander has got to be a location. It's not the most exciting topic to talk about, but it's probably the most important. Today we've been out fishing a really big river and a powerful river, and it can make the zander quite easy to find. You're going to drive into spots that are slack and slower. You need a little bit of colour there, but any area where you've got slack water, you might have hard structure, deep ledges. We're mainly looking for currents meeting and turbid lines in the river, and that's what seems to hold them best. When it comes to fishing canals and still waters, the features we're looking for can be a little bit different. Obviously moving water in a canal can be a really good feature. The overflow or water coming through the lock gates, any hard structure, and in shallow venues any depth can increase the numbers of zander sat down there. Deep ledges and again against the structure is always a good shout. Big still waters and long canals, often they can have long stretches with clear water, and this can make the zander really tough to catch. So if you can find a bit of colour in the water, this can help tremendously as well. So just keep mobile, and if you look out for these sort of features, you won't be far away from the fish. So tip number 2 is going to be all about lure choice, and before we talk about colour, we're going to talk about the profile. The profile of the lure can be massively important. Here we've got a Zander Pro and a spiky shad. Both of these lures have got big paddle tails and they move a lot of water. We've also got other options like the slick shad and the pro shad. Both of these lures have got smaller tails. The slick shad's a little more supple and a lot higher frequency lure. The pro shad's somewhere in between them both, but still a great option. We've caught some good fish on it over the last couple of days. If the fish are being really fussy, I always go for a slick finesse. I've got some great fish on them this year, and it's just when things are tough, they can bring on a bite. So now let's talk about colour. I always take a really wide range of colours with me when I'm zander fishing. You never really know what they're going to like. I tend to fish a lot of naturals and stuff like that, but the bright lures really have their day as well. Just yesterday we were out fishing, we fished the same spot for over an hour without a bite, and the first change to a blue caught straight away. So you never really know, but it's really important to keep changing, keep trying different lures, especially if you're not getting bites. So some of my favourite colours, I love the blue guts. Especially in murky water, seems to be a great colour. The white, this one's a killer on the canals, really good lure. And the Wagasaki, probably my favourite colour, great for zander. So last but not least, let's talk about size. I'll carry a wide variety of sizes whenever I'm fishing for zander. If I'm fishing small for them, I love a 7cm, but I'll tend in the river to fish a 10 to 16cm, and I like the chunkier profiles as well. I'm not afraid either to throw big lures. I love the slick finesse in 20cm. They're really soft and supple, and lures this size can really throw up the monsters. So next time you're on the bank fishing for zander, make sure you've got a wide range of colours, sizes and profiles, and this should really help you put some extra fish on the bank. So my zander tip number 3 is all about jig heads. And with zander having such bony and hard mouths, it's really important to pick the right one. So for most of my zander fishing, I use the Fox Finesse jig. These hooks are really fine wire, really strong and really sharp, and it's very important when you're fishing for zander. I'll use these from 5 grams down on the smaller venues right the way up to 15, 20 grams here on the big rivers. So when it comes to actually rigging the lure, I like to keep the hook quite close to the head. Zander tend to aim for the head anyway, and it also allows your lure to fold up and just go straight down its mouth. This also ensures that you get maximum action out of the lure by not having the hook going too far down the body. The other option I do use is the extra strong jig heads. Now I tend to use these when I'm using heavy rods, heavy braids and pulling fish out of heavy cover. So the next time you're selecting a jig head, make sure it's fine gauge, ultra sharp, and just put a little attention into how you rig it. And this should help you connect with a few more bites. So for my fourth tip, always carry a drop shot rig with you. The drop shot's a really good rig for Zander. I like to fish it nice and high off the bottom, especially in big waters, and they really love it. Especially when things get tough and the temperatures get low, the drop shot's an unreal rig. And just like when you're fishing with jigs, you want a nice sharp hook and a wide gape as well. And below that, I'm fishing about 2 foot today down to the weight, but I will go as much as 3 foot. The Zander love a lure suspended over the head, and you can hold it really still when things are slow, and they'll just come up and just smash it. When it comes down to the weight, obviously that's very venue dependent. On a big river like this, I'll often use 20 grams, 15 grams. On a canal, you can use as little as 2 or 3, and everything in between really. So you just want a weight that you can feel on the bottom and just keep that line tight and keep the lure suspended where it's supposed to be. When it comes to fishing the drop shot, there's 2 main ways I'll use it. One's vertical, down the side of a wall or off the side of a boat. And the other is a little bit heavier and casting on the edge of a point where I want to fish, and I'll just hold the lure there still, and it gives me loads of time in that area. So when things get hard, swap to your drop shot rod, slow things down, and I'm sure it'll put you some extra fish on the bank. And my final tip is going to be rod choice. With Zander having such hard and bony mouths, it's vitally important to pick the right rod. When I'm fishing for Zander, I really like a fast action rod, plenty of power up in the tip and sensitive enough to feel those bites on the bottom. When it comes to smaller venues, I'll use 2 to 10 grams, 3 to 14 gram rods, and it's not all about having a heavy rod, you just need the right action to set that hook in the hard mouths. And when it comes to fishing bigger venues, I'll tend to use a 5 to 21 or a 7 to 28. I like a long rod so I can cast far, and again, plenty of power up the front and sensitive enough to feel them. On a really big venue like a big river where it's deep, you've got the turbulence of the water, I'll tend to use a 15 to 50, a really heavy rod. I can feel the lure down just fine and get a real good hook set on them big fish at distance or in deep water. So when you're selecting a rod for Zander fishing, just keep these points in mind. We've got a massive selection of rods at Fox, and there's something to suit every budget. So those are my top 5 Zander fishing tips. Zander can be super tough at times when you're targeting them on lures, but I hope these tips can just give you a little bit of an edge and just help you put a few more fish on the bank.